Good afternoon, St. Joseph School families. So now that we're in the second month of the school year, it's a good time to go over our safety protocols here at school and our emergency drills. We've already done 2 fire drills to start the year, and we usually take advantage of the warm weather to start that in the beginning of fall. But I want to go through the 5 different drills that we practice here at school. And the 5 drills that we practice are all based on the I Love You Guys standard response protocols. And this is all based on information we received last year from West St. Paul Police that a lot of schools in our area are doing this, and they found it really, really helpful to give a standard response to any type of emergency that happens on campus. So if there is ever an on-campus emergency, there are 5 different actions that we train our teachers to do, 5 different actions that we drill. And so I want to walk through these really quickly with you today. The first type of a response is what's called a hold. A hold happens in the event of we've got an ambulance here, there's a medical issue, we need kids out of the hallways, something like that. If there's a hold, everybody stays in their classroom or their area. The hallways are all clear. If we have anyone that's outside in PE or on recess, they stay outside, but they don't come in. We would close and lock all doors, although they're usually closed during the school day anyway. We account for all students and adults in our classroom, but we keep doing what we're doing. We teach, we learn, we do business as usual until there's an all clear. Usually holds only last a few minutes while we're trying to keep the hallways clear for whoever needs to be here. The second event is what's called a secure. Secure happens if there's a threat outside the building, but it is safe inside the building. So in the event of a secure, everybody comes inside, so everybody's got to come in from recess and nobody can be outside. We increase our situational awareness. We account for all of our students. However, inside the building, it's business as usual. So students can change classes. We can move in the hallways. We can go to lunch. We can go to library. We can go to other specials, just as we usually do until the all clear happens. Now, the big thing to know as parents is if there is a secure that's called, no student can come, no student can leave. We have to keep the building locked. So although the building's always locked during every school day anyway, during a secure, nobody's coming in and out until the secure is cleared. Now, in a lockdown, this is probably our biggest security threat that we have to respond to. If there's a lockdown, students come in from the hallway. Classroom doors are closed. Lights are out. We move out of any sight lines of windows. We maintain silence. The doors stay closed for anyone. Any students who are in the hallways have to enter the closest room, even if that's an office. If you can't, you have to evacuate. And our students prepare to evacuate or resist if necessary. Now again, in the nightmare situation of an active assailant, the reality is you'd be locking down part of the building, but you'd probably be evacuating other parts of the building in such an emergency. The fourth type of scenario is what's called an evacuate. And an evacuate is actually like a fire drill, just where everybody leaves the building. So it could be a fire, could be a gas leak. Again, in the event of an active assailant situation, you would actually be evacuating as much as you could of the school. What we would do in an evacuation is we lead students to an evacuation location. We would leave stuff behind if it's feasible. Again, weather and a lot of things factor in how much time that you have. We account for all students, and if we need parents to pick up, parents would pick up students at an alternate location. Now, we do have a few different alternate locations set up. The one that we would choose would really depend on what is the type of emergency that we're dealing with, as well as factors like weather, the time of day, et cetera, with that. But for an example, a fire drill is actually an example of an evacuate, where we just evacuate all of the campus, even if we're just getting 100 yards away to come back in when the drill is over. The final drill that we practice is a shelter, and it happens whenever we need to lead a safety strategy but stay in our own building. Under a shelter, it could be something like if there is a tornado, we evacuate to the lowest floor. We always practice that once a year. If there's other severe weather, we may evacuate to the lowest floor based on the type of weather that we're seeing. If it's a huge flash flood, we would go to higher ground. If it's a hazmat situation, we seal the room. If it's an earthquake, which really is not common here in Minnesota, we drop, cover, and hold. So that's a basic explanation of each of our 5 different protocols. We drill these all throughout the year. There will be a drill for each of them and usually multiple for each of them all throughout the year. So have a wonderful extended weekend, and we'll see you next week.